Who's?
Blanks on the defense in general as well.
Yeah, I mean, Travis is an incredible leader, very selfless, very coachable, great football intelligence. He retains information. He retains corrections. Very uncanny-like, like the best I've been around that way. And he's got a tremendous humility. Been awesome and for us in our meeting room and on the football field that way. It's really transcended and helped our chemistry in our back seven. So he's got great respect, not only for what he's gone through, but just how he carries himself as a man and as a teammate, as a leader.
Brent, can you enlighten us on what kind of player Jalen Williams is for those
Yep. Jalen has got very good instincts, got good quickness. He's a good tackler. He's relentless chasing the football. Still a young player. Will have to make some mistakes, but got great football intelligence. Really is ahead of the curve that way. Hard to block. He doesn't stay blocked when he does get blocked initially. He gets off the blocks really well. So I'm excited about Jalen. He's a guy that cares a great deal about his performance and his preparation. And he's not just excited about getting to the game. I've coached those guys that they want nothing to do with the preparation. They just want to get to the games. They love to play, you know, according to them. But you can't put the cart before the horse. And Jalen really values the preparation, detail that goes in behind playing at a high level. And for a young guy, that's normally not the case. They don't want to worry about all the details. The details are not important to them. And but Jalen has shown, you know, that's an exception. You know, that he's an exception that way in how he thinks.
If you can think back to 2 years ago, what jumped out to you about Jalen?
Everything. Probably the number one thing was how competitive he was. His skill set was good. He moved well. He was sudden. He was quick. He was instinctive. But he was just very competitive. All the while, I just had a faceless look about him, like he was just very focused and determined. And that set him apart from a lot of guys that he was competing with. And then he endured that effort through, you know, a couple of days. As he showed up, had invited him to come, didn't know if he was gonna, hadn't heard from him, and he shows up. So that was a pleasant surprise, and he was just gonna come for one practice, and asked him if he'd stick around, and so his coaches took him. He bought some extra change of drawers and showed up for the next couple of days, and just continued to compete. Resonates with me when I hear the story about Grady Jarrett, that, you know, he's going to be in the front of the line and take every rep and just, you know, wear out people. And Jalen was the same way. He just continued to impress the longer you were around him. So that's who he's been since he's been here. So he hadn't tackled anybody in a game yet, and he's got a long career ahead of him. Again, he's got a ton of work to do, like a lot of young guys, but he's got a really good, strong foundation in his passion and his want to chase the football, and he's got good instincts and good quickness to him.
How about a little bit on how you've seen Goodson develop time with that?
Well, just his toughness, probably from the first part of his career to where he's at now, and enduring adversity, and, you know, fighting through the adversity and competing with himself better, longer, more consistently, being a better leader. He's always been a guy that's never on a list, but to be a really good player, let alone a great player, you gotta go above and beyond that. And so he's always been a good kid, but you know, just competing with himself. It's what the great ones do. They don't care about who else is in their line. They just compete to be the best, and with intensity and just relentlessness and everything that they do. You know, like, it's the end of the world on this next play if I don't perform at a high level. Just having that that urgency about him is something that we're trying to get to, and I'm hopeful that we're close to it now. And I've seen a lot of improvement in all those areas with him, and he's had a really good fall camp.
The two things that I most remember about him early on was he was a little undersized.
BJ?
Coming in, but he had a high IQ, had a high football IQ.
Yeah, he's always been, I don't know, he's been over 230 pounds since I've been here. But he's about almost 250 right now, and he's always been really strong in the weight room strength and his power, and he's been a natural thumper when he strikes people. And I really think it's just all those other things, you know, hungry, tough, have a chip on your shoulder, all the adjectives that you like, you know, swagger. I'm not a big swagger guy, but I like people that like to rip people's face off, and so if you want to call that swagger, then
Sure.
But because I see too many guys swagger without the play,
Yeah.
you know, behind it. So, you know, beating their chest and making some ordinary, basic, fundamental play that I can get a circus monkey to do, you know. But anyway, you know, that's what you want to see is guys, and for BJ, loving making plays and loving competing at a high level, and just having an edge to him. And again, I really believe that being behind maybe Stephon and Spencer and Tony and some of those guys, maybe the mindset was, well, those guys are, you know, they're in front of me, I'm not going to get my time, so instead of getting out of the back seat and climbing up in the middle of the front seat, he decided to stay in the back seat, and now it's his time. And so I have seen a change, and so I'm hopeful that transcends to, you know, making, you know, plays and being a real effective middle linebacker for us, and I believe it will.
He's not squeamish about ripping faces then.
He's been pretty good, but I wait to those games to really figure everything out. And sometimes that takes a little bit to figure all that out. But some guys, I had a guy that was a multi-year All-American for me. He was one of the worst practice players and just drove me bananas. He was intense and worked hard, but just looked bad. But when he got to the game, man, he made every play and then some. And I wouldn't say BJ's a bad practice player, but, you know, maybe unimpressive sometimes. And I believe he's that guy that plays differently than he practices. We'll see.